Dear friends, last week we began our discussion on God consciousness, meaning the awareness of God or the consciousness of the divine. We spoke about the evidence of God's existence and tried to understand that the signs and proofs of God's presence are all around us. But many times, human beings avoid accepting these signs because if they accept this reality, then they will have to live their lives according to that eternal truth. They will have to accept that life is not simply about being born, living for a few years, and then coming to an end. Rather, their life has a purpose. Their decisions have importance and relevance. Their actions have consequences, and every deed will have an account. And perhaps this is the very thing that human beings try hardest to avoid. Because believing in God is not merely accepting an idea. It means understanding our responsibility, looking within ourselves and accepting that beyond this world there is a greater reality before which we will one day have to answer. In this week's 2 episodes, we are going to discuss another important part of this same journey. A question that millions of people around the world claim to believe in, yet its impact is often not visible in their lives, their actions, or their thoughts. That question is there another life after this life? Will we be brought back to life after we die once? Will there be an account of what we have done in this world? So, let us try to search for answers to these questions today. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Beginning in the name of Allah, the one, the unique, whose mercy has no limit, whose mercy has no measure, and whose mercy never ends. Friends, let us once again remember the principle that we discussed in the previous episode. Truth is always clear and easy to understand, whereas falsehood often takes support of confusion or support from confusion, excuses, and contradictions. If we look at the major religious and spiritual traditions of the world, we find that human life is not considered the final destination. Different religions and philosophies explain this idea in different ways. Some speak about resurrection, meaning being brought back to life. Some speak about rebirth, and some speak about the journey of the soul beyond this life. But one thing that appears in some form across these different ideas is that human life is not without purpose. Our actions matter, our decisions matter, and our good and bad deeds have consequences. Meaning, this world is not simply a place where a person comes and spends some time and then disappears forever. Rather, there appears to be a greater purpose behind it. If we try to understand this basic idea, that a human being has come to this earth for a fixed period of time, and that one day they will have to give an account of their actions and deeds, their decisions and the way they lived their life, then this thought appears very simple and of course easy to understand. Because if there is a creator of this entire universe, if there is a wisdom and purpose behind this entire creation, then it is natural to think that the Creator did not simply create human beings and leave them without any purpose. Rather, human existence must have a reason, a logic and a rationale. On the other hand, if someone says that human beings are just like other living creatures, they are born, they live for some time, and they return to the earth, and after that, there's no accountability, then this thought raises many questions. The first question is, are human beings truly no different from other living creatures? It is true that every living being on this earth is a part of this entire system. Every tree, every plant, every animal, and every bird plays its role in maintaining the balance of nature. But is it not equally clear that human beings have been given the greatest ability to understand and make use of this entire system? Just think about it. Look at how this earth has been made suitable for human life. There are mountains, there are rivers, there are oceans, there is air, there is water, there are trees, there are fruits, and there is food. All of this together creates an environment where human beings can live their lives comfortably. Rivers flow and bring water to human beings. The earth produces crops. Trees provide fruits. Human beings benefit from animals in many ways. The resources hidden within the earth are discovered, understood, and used for the good of human beings. But the question is all of this just a coincidence? Or does it point towards a greater purpose? No animal builds a house with cement. No bird builds a nest made of iron or steel. No other creature creates computers, satellites, ships, or massive buildings. Why? Because human beings have not only been given physical strength, they have been given the ability to think, to understand, to make decisions, to think about the future. Human beings do not merely observe the world. They ask questions. They reflect. They understand the difference between right and wrong. They recognize the difference between justice and oppression. They feel regret for their mistakes and happiness for their good deeds. Meaning, within a human being, there is not just a body. There is also consciousness. There is awareness. There is conscience. And this is where a very important question arises. If human beings have been given the ability to recognize right and wrong, if they have been given a desire for justice, then is it possible that ultimately there is no justice? Is it possible that one person spends their entire life sacrificing for others, standing for truth and justice, while another person spends the entire life committing oppression, taking away people's rights and deceiving others? And the final outcome for both is exactly the same. If there is no accountability after this life, then what is the meaning of justice? If there is no difference between good and bad actions, then why has this voice of goodness been placed inside human beings? If every story ends with death, then why has humanity always carried these questions within itself? What is the purpose of my existence? What is the value of my actions? And is there something beyond this life? Perhaps. This is why almost every major faith and tradition in the world has told human beings that death is not the end of the story. But for today, we will leave you with this very question and this very thought. Think about it. If human beings exist only for this world, then why does this question arise within them? What is the purpose of their existence? And if there is another life after this life, then how important does our life today become? Friends, in the next episode, we will take this discussion further. We'll try to understand how resurrection is possible and whether this idea is only a matter of religious belief or whether there is a deeper reasoning behind it as well. Thank you very much. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. And our final call is that all praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of all the worlds. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace, the mercy of Allah, and His blessings be upon all of you, all of you.